Buddy, good to see you again.
Good to see you, brother.
Right. Obviously, just cut straight to the chase. Obviously, we're going to talk about mental health today. And especially now, with what's going on with the coronavirus lockdown, there's a lot more people which are suffering from mental health issues. But today's obviously we're going to talk about what you've been through.
Yeah.
How you've overcome these issues, what support you've had, what you wish you would have done, but let's start right from the beginning. Tell me right from the start, what were you like as a little kid?
I was a naughty little kid. I was a bit of a cheeky little kid.
Yeah.
Obviously, I enjoyed going to school. So there wasn't really, I was a skinny little kid.
Yeah.
Weren't we all? No, yeah. Well, yeah. I was a skinny little kid. Never really did much training or anything like that. Played football.
Yeah.
Probably could have been the next Ronaldo, but I gave it up. Not really, no. So I played football. I played for Leamington Castle as a kid, which I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But I used to always be tired and just lethargic every time I'd come back from school.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I was just generally just tired all the time. And my granddad used to be like, he's going to be world champion one day. I said that to my dad. My dad's a powerlifter.
So how old were you when you said that?
I was probably about 13, 14.
Yeah.
Year 10, around about year 10.
Yeah.
And like I said, there was nothing to me. So sort of him saying that was sort of a bit surprising. And it was surprising to my dad because my dad was like this big heavyweight powerlifter where, a lot of people in the community knew him for his lifting, and he did like strongman and stuff like that. And he just looked over and smirked, and he was like, I don't think so, right? And he was like, trust me, he will.
Yeah.
Right? And then my dad turned around and goes, oh, maybe he'll get to British level or something, right? Anyway, so I thought to myself, you know what, I want to start training, because I used to see my dad's old videos and stuff like that. I thought, I want to start training, I want to start getting big, right? Mm-hmm. So I started training, and it was just something that come quite naturally to me. Squatting, bench pressing, deadlifting. My body weight at the time, I was under 60 kilo.
Okay.
So
very
it's very light.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it came quite naturally to me, and I was doing it. Obviously, my dad's trained me and coached me ever since, and still does today. And so I started doing it, enjoyed it, and then decided to compete. I thought, I'll compete in a competition. So I competed in the West Midlands competition, which was held in Tyseley at the time. And again, first of all, I was really nervous because I was like, I want to do my dad proud, I want to do my, granddad proud and family proud. And this is my first competition. But I did quite well. I come second. I come second in my category, and I qualified then for the British because I had to hit a certain qualifying term, and then qualified for the British. And then once I qualified for the British, as all systems go, everything for me was just powerlifting. I was looking up everything, all magazines, old magazines, everything. It's just pure powerlifting.
So how old were you at this point?
I was just coming up to 15.
15.
I was coming up to 15. And so, yes.
Were you still playing football?
No, I stopped playing football, and I was just focusing on powerlifting. So I used to go 3 times a week to the Nelson gym, which is a local gym in Leamington. A bit of a spit and sawdust kind of gym. But
just how we like it.
Yeah, just how we like it. So I started training, and then obviously started training coming up towards the to the British, and then the build up to the British. My granddad passed away, and I was very close to my granddad, very, very close to my granddad.
How did he pass away?
He had stomach cancer. It was pancreas cancer.
Okay.
And so he passed away, and it was probably, I think it was a couple of weeks before the competition. And I said, look, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not up to it. Mentally, I'm not ready. I don't want to do it. And then my dad spoke to me, and he goes, look, I know it's tough, but he would have wanted you to do it. So, wherever you place, whatever you do,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make a difference as long as you've competed. You know, it's not about the winning; it's about competing in the British. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I've done it. So I went to the British. Again, my head was all over the place, but I don't know where I found this strength, but I felt quite strong on the day, and everything felt quite comfortable and easy. And I actually won the British in my age and weight category. So I won the British.
So how much did you lift?
Not a lot compared to, like I said, my body weight was only 60 kilo.
Yeah.
So I think I've probably done about, I think it was about 110 maybe kilos squat.
Okay.
I think it's about 60 or 70 kilo bench press and a 135 deadlift.
Yeah.
At the top of my head.
That's still good.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So then and I won the British. And then I remember I was given like a special pen, which is like I was given obviously a trophy and a special pen. I remember on the day of the funeral, I popped it inside it in his pocket. And obviously I was quite emotional at that time. But I'd done it, and you know, from there on, it was a case of I'm British champion now in my age and weight category. So then, all right, what's next step? And then,
if your granddad was still alive when you won the British, what do you think he would have said to you?
I would have been over the moon. He would have been absolutely over the moon. I think he would have sort of said to my dad, maybe in your face, I told you so.
So what did your dad say when you?
He was over the moon. He was just shocked, and he was just like, you know what? Especially with everything that was going on at that time. Literally, I think it was a week before the funeral. So for me, at the age of 15, to go there, to have the mental strength to actually go and compete and win, was a big deal. And mentally, I felt strong. I felt, you know, on top of the world. And then we decided to start looking at avenues which different federations to start lifting for. So in powerlifting, you've got loads of different types of federations. And we decided to go for a federation which was heavily built around sort of age categories and weight categories and so on and so forth. So I entered my first competition for the British Drug-Free Powerlifting Association, who I still live for now. So I'm very proud they're a drug-free powerlifting association, so we get tested all the time. The amount of times I've been tested is unreal. Even that story in itself, so it's a bit of a different story. When they actually physically watch you, wee in a pot. So
wow. Okay. So in case you don't cheat,
it's somebody else's. So it's quite thorough. But that's what I liked. I like that because obviously that's we've been brought up like that. My dad's always done it that way, so that's the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
So I started lifting there, and then at this point I was 17. And I'd just finished at Campion High School.
Yeah.
And I was at college. I was at Binswood Sixth Form.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I was at Binswood Sixth Form. So I was studying at the time. Wow.
Yeah. Studying.
Yeah, I was studying at the time. But yeah, so I started lifting in the BDFPA, and again, I came to a competition where I qualified, and I qualified again for the British. And the British was in Scotland, and I remember going to this British because this British felt different because it was like the platform was quite big. It was like the way the federation had done it. It was a bit more professional. And I remember going to the British, and it was in Scotland, and we went the day before, and we flew out there and stuff, and it felt like like a proper athlete.
Yeah.
Go in there, and then I remember I didn't sleep all night. I couldn't sleep a wink because I was just so nervous. And then went to the British, and there was a local lad there, and he was in my weight category, but he was quite well known.
Yeah.
Within the federation, and his coach come to my dad, and he started talking to my dad. He goes, what category is your son in? He goes, he's in the. I've moved up slightly. Then I was 67.5 kilo body weight. He goes, he's in 67.5 kilo body weight, and so then he goes, okay, he goes, to be honest, he goes, yeah, the guy that he's against, he goes, he's known, he goes, well, good luck to your son anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my dad took that quite personally.
Mine is.
Anyway, so the competition went really well, and it got to the deadlift, and his deadlift was the strongest. Like, he's known for his deadlift.
Okay. Well, do you remember what he lifted?
Yes, I remember what he lifted. So his deadlift at the time, I think it was 190. He pulled up a 190.
Okay.
Well, that body weight
That's
a very
good.
strong
That's
deadlift.
more than triple.
And I in the gym struggled with. I pulled up 175 in the gym, and it was neck and neck, as in towards the end. And my dad put 187 and a half on, and I was like, look at the jump from 175. I struggled with the gym. I go, this is 187 and a half. I thought. And then just to psych myself up, just as I was about going to do the lift, my dad goes to me in my ear, because this one's for your granddad.
Right.
Anyway, I went there to go on lift. I put my hands on the bar, and I don't know what happened. It just flew.
Yeah.
Absolutely flew. I just stood up with it, and they just like good lift, and I was so psyched up for it. But mentally, at that point in my life, I was very sort of aggressive towards when I was lifting and stuff like that. Quite overt sort of aggression for powerlifting with my powerlifting side of things. Then he actually beat me. He beat me. He did beat me because he pulled up a 190. But on the total, we'd done exactly the same total, but his body weight was very slightly less than mine. Okay. So it's very tactically played.
Yeah. So you won, really.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's hopefully watching this. Yeah, you won, really.
And then from there on, then I lifted in the Worlds, and then I won the Worlds, and that was it really. And then that's basically, I continued with my powerlifting career in the background while studying. And then obviously I was at Binswood Sixth Form, and then after that I started working. I didn't go to university, even though there's that mentality, but go to university, get a degree, this, that, you get a job. Otherwise, you're not going to get a job. Things that happen in life. So I then I started working for Vodafone, and I started working for Vodafone in town. And my manager at the time, he's still a very good friend of mine. He taught me so much, just so much. I picked up so much from him, and I still look up to him now with the stuff that he helped me with, because I was sort of 21, 22 years old, going into sales, and let's just say obviously my powerlifting background, maybe a little bit more aggressive, and let's just say my customer service skills weren't great. But he taught me a lot. So then I started obviously with Vodafone. I did that for about 3 years, and then I went to Santander, and I started working for Santander. This was when I was in my early 20s, and I started working for Santander. Started working at Warwick Uni first. And then I got promoted as a bank manager for Leicester University.
Okay.
And then actually it was the first time I lived out. For about 6 months or so.
How was that?
It was mad. I used to, dare I say it, I'll admit it. When I first moved in to this house, I was moved into this house. I was living there on my own, and at night, I couldn't sleep at night.
Right.
I used to look outside the window. I just couldn't sleep. I used to just be terrified. But after a while, I got used to it.
Terrified of what?
Just generally, just scared.
Right.
Like, because it's a completely different area.
You've always lived at home.
Always lived in Leamington. Always lived at home, and it's a completely different area. And so it was all new to me. But I learned a lot. In those 6 months.
Yeah.
Still used to get, my packages sent to me, as in my mum would send me roti and in my Tupperware boxes. I'd take those there. That last me for a few days, get away. So I learned quite a bit from that. So that was effectively my uni, basically.
Yeah.
And then I met my wife, which was a big point in my life.
Good point or bad point?
Oh, very good point. Very good point. Of course, Of course, very good point. So then I met Aman, and we met through Facebook, actually, through mutual friends. And I remember when I first messaged her, I turned around, Like, oh, I think I know. I think I've seen you about, the classic. And she was like, I don't think so. I was like, oh, anyway. I go, oh, you must have heard of me. I'm Govi Chima. I'm the powerlifter. Yes. I know.
Oh, man.
I went down that route and I was like, I'm the powerlifter. You must have seen me in the papers and that. And she was like, no, I haven't actually. And I was like, okay, that burst my bubble.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. But yeah, when we started talking, it was just one of those things that, there's people that got married before me and sort of said, you'll know when you'll meet that special person. And I used to just think, yeah, whatever. It's just, I don't know what they're on about. But as soon as I started talking to her, as soon as I spoke to her on the phone, we just hit it off. We just had so much in common.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things when my parents were obviously at the point where they were like looking for me to get married.
Yeah.
And they turned around and I said to her, there's no way in hell that I'll get married to a girl from Leamington. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
And a girl that's younger than me, never going to happen. So that's
younger than you?
Yeah, younger than me. I thought I was very mature, you see.
Right.
So
how old were you at this point?
So at this point I was 24.
Right.
24? Yeah, 24. Yeah, 24.
So you wanted to marry someone older?
Someone older because I was very mature.
What? Well, like 30, 35 years
no,
old?
No, maybe not that old.
Not that mature then. Right.
But yeah, I just thought that, because I was so mature for my age, well, I thought I was anyway, that, I'd never sort of hit it off with a girl that's younger than me. So obviously we started talking, then we got engaged. I was 25. No,
okay.
25?
Yeah.
Yeah, 25. And so we got engaged quite quickly, actually. After about a year of seeing each other, we got engaged. Yeah. And then we got married in July. And then at that point, I sort of thought to myself, right, powerlifting is going to take a back step now. And, I'm going to try and enjoy married life. Spend time with my wife, go on holidays and just, not really focus on, keep on doing the training because I knew I had to keep on doing the training because it was what I was passionate about. And then anyway, after a few years, it got to the point where I was like, I need something in my life again. I think I need to start lifting again. I think I need to start competing again. And then my wife was like,
what was at that point, obviously you made that decision, get married, okay, give powerlifting a step back.
Yeah.
Want to dedicate that time to marriage, travelling, do whatever. So at what point do you think, okay, I now need powerlifting? So what made you think that?
I was getting to the point where you got to remember when I was about 15, 16 years old, because I've been competing for so many years.
Yeah.
Religiously, I was in the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
And I was in there for an hour and a half at least minimum. And then I'll be doing extra bits and bobs of training as well. When I got married, functions were coming up, things were happening, parties, drinking probably a bit more. So like obviously if I had a wedding on a Sunday, if I had a bit too much to drink, you know what, Monday I won't go to the gym. And it's sort of just over a period of time, I was just being too lax on it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up one morning and I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm out of shape. I hadn't put on loads of drastic weight, but I could feel I was out of shape.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, I wasn't feeling great because I was thinking, I'm not used to being like this. I'm used to being fit and healthy. And mentally, it was starting to affect me a bit. And I was thinking, this is not my kind of lifestyle. Like, work Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go out on the sesh. That's not my lifestyle. I'm not used to that. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I've had a couple of good years, 2 years. Now it's time to start knuckling down and start focusing on something again. Because
so you mentioned it affected you mentally.
Yeah.
How did it affect you mentally?
So mentally, it was sort of eating away at me, but I didn't realise what it was. It was sort of, there was something there that would make me feel like when I'd wake up, mainly on the weekend, because Monday to Friday I'd be working anyway. Mainly on the weekend, I'd get up and I'd sort of just look at myself and I'd just be like, what the hell's happened to you? Like, I just felt normal. And I didn't want to feel normal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be like an average person because I've done powerlifting for so many years. Obviously, it's all strength, it's all power, it's all, you know. And I just felt normal, and I was just thinking, it was mentally, it was just ticking away at me, and I was just thinking, you know what? And I was thinking to myself at the back of my head, I was thinking, you know what? The amount sometimes I go in the gym, and I sort of just do a little bit, and I just walk out. I'm going in there just for the sake of it, and I could see that really my dad's not really too happy with it either, but he's not really said anything. But that was sort of playing on my mind as well. And
what about Oman? What was it Oman saying at this point?
I think with Oman, I think it was, she never really saw the side when I was focused and I was competing. Because like I said, obviously I knocked it on the head, as in the competitive side of things. So she'd never really seen that side of me. She probably started to see now, maybe on the weekend, on a Saturday, I probably end up drinking a bit more than I normally would do when we first met. Because when we first met, there might be times when I'd be off the drink for like 7-8 weeks because I'm training for a competition and I'd be strict. She didn't see any of that. And then she was sort of like, I don't understand, you know, this ain't you. You know, you need to change your ways a little bit. And I think the first year of marriage, I think, was a bit challenging. And I think everybody sort of says that the first year of marriage is usually the honeymoon period, but I don't think that's the case. I think that's the case where you're sort of understanding each other, and you know, the first year I was probably going out and stuff too much. Like I was just, because I weren't used to having someone at home. Do you get what I mean? I was going out, enjoying myself, and then coming back, and then, you know, spending all day in bed on Sunday. So I then had to change, and I did change. And I realised why I needed to change, because it's not fair. You know, I can't just go out as and when. You know, I need to think that I've got a wife at home. I can't just, you know. So
did she ever say to you, "Come on, you know, this isn't the person that I thought I'd marry"?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, that affected me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, obviously she meant everything to me, but then on the other side of things, I still wanted to go out with my mates and, you know, have a good time on a Saturday. So I thought to myself, I need to strike a balance here, which I did, which was fine. But mentally, I think that's where it started affecting me. And I think now that I'm actually talking to you about it, I think that's where initially probably the issues started effectively with regards to my mental health. I think it was a case of, I was thinking, all right, I need to sort myself out and chill out a little bit, not go out and stuff so much, spend some time with more time with Ahmed. I need to knock that on the head. And then I'm thinking to myself, on top of that, actually, do you know what? Look at the state of me. I need to start training more. And then when I'm going to the gym, obviously I'm not nowhere near as what I used to be. So then that's sort of affected me as well. And then I'm thinking to myself, right, okay, I need to get into shape. Then I was like, right, I'm going to start boxing training because I need to get fit, because I felt I wasn't fit. And I was thinking, do you know what, I'm a bit bored of powerlifting. Let me try boxing out. And I'll go on to it in a bit later on, where I was sort of just jumping to loads of different things that I wanted to do. But really, it was just me. I was suffering, but I was just trying to find a way out. I was trying to blame something. So then I started boxing training, which was great. And then I'd started that. And then finally, I go to Oman, I need to start competing. I need that focus. That's the only thing that keeps me on track, is me competing. It sort of just dawned on me.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm not old enough, I'm not young enough to start boxing and start a career in boxing. I thought that's not going to happen. I thought, what's the one thing that I love, and what's the one thing that I was good at? And that's when Oman said to me, powerlifting.
Yeah.
So why don't you focus on powerlifting?
You mentioned suffering. Give me a bit more information, a bit more detail about the suffering. What kind of suffering were you going through?
Suffering I was going through, it was really difficult to sort of pinpoint what the suffering was. I was clearly going through some suffering, but I was keeping it inside. I wasn't saying anything to anyone.
So just if you elaborate on that, what kind of suffering was it? Like physical pain, mental pain? Were you having anxiety attacks, like depression, panic attacks?
It was mainly anxiety, but it hadn't kicked in until a little bit further down.
Yeah.
At this point, I think it was just starting,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm starting to doubt myself, and I'm doubting myself, my body, the way that I look.
Mm-hmm.
Those doubts are creeping into my head because obviously I'm not training and I'm not doing any of that. And those doubts are just playing on my head in my background. And I'm thinking, I need to do something quick to get out of this.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, powerlifting, I'm going to enter a competition. It's fine. It's 7 weeks away. Bang. That's the total I need to make. I can do that. I then put too much pressure on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And because I put so much pressure on myself, mentally when I was going to the gym, I wasn't listening to my body. So when my body says, no, you shouldn't be doing bench press today because you're feeling a niggle, or you shouldn't be squatting today because you're feeling a niggle, normally what I would do, I'd step back and say, okay, I'll leave it till next week. Now, I was like, no, because I've set this goal,
Yeah.
I'm going to come back. I've told everyone I'm coming back. If I don't come back, I'm going to be seen as a failure.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to do it regardless. So I was pushing myself beyond means. My body was not reacting in that kind of way. You got to remember, I hadn't been doing it for so many years, like properly. So it got to the point, I still remember the day, it was a Friday. And Friday was the day that I'd do bench. So I went to the gym and I put on the weight, and it got to about 120. And the week before, I think I'd done a 130, and I was meant to be going to 135. Again, it's just way too quick.
Yeah.
Put 120 on. Do you know what? I didn't feel that great. Anyway, I thought, right, forget that. No, 125. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to psych myself up. But my body wasn't ready. My body was telling me, I was getting the signs. My body was telling me, don't do it. Basically, that's why it's so important to listen to your body.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
I'd go to Dad, I go, look, 125 is fine, just put it on, be fine, right? And even he said, he goes, look, if I was you, I'd leave it. No, I'm fine. Anyway, in my head, headstrong. Walked the way down. As I went to go and push up, I felt this massive spasm. From here, I never felt anything like it. Come up here. And I knew I'd done some damage. Put it back. Almighty pain. Massive pain. Competition was 2 weeks away. Got back. Looked at it. What can happen? Competitions are going to happen. I thought, okay, I've done some damage. It might not be that severe, but I didn't know the severity of it. It was a Friday night. On the Saturday, we had a wedding party. I was off the drink at the time, because I was going to be competing. And anyway, I go to him and I go, you drive. You know what? I'm going to have a few drinks and just chill out because this is just completely, my head's gone.
And did she say, yeah, that's fine? Or did
she goes, yeah, that's fine, but just take it easy.
Yeah.
You haven't drank for a few weeks now, 6-7 weeks now. By the way, just for the record, when I'm talking about drinking, I'm talking about Saturday, Sundays, not every day. So we went to this wedding party, had a great time, come back, had a fair amount. Next morning, woke up and my bicep gone black. I thought, okay, I've done some serious damage here. So then went to go and see a doctor. The doctor saw it, he goes, look, you need to go straight to a specialist. We'll get you booked into Warwick Hospital and you need to get a specialist, check it out. I said, fine. Went there. The specialist, literally within a couple of minutes, just went like this. He goes, yeah. He goes, you've done some damage. And he goes, basically what's happened is, he goes, just by feeling it out, he goes, your tendon has detached. So basically between the pec and the shoulder,
right.
He goes, the tendon has detached. He goes, without me even scanning it or anything, he goes, I think it's come off clean. So I was like, okay, what does that mean? And he was like, well, he goes, we'll need to operate on it. Heart sank. I was like, operate? What? I need an operation?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, he goes, if you don't, he goes, the body's very clever. What will happen is is it'll just attach anywhere.
Right.
So he goes, then you might struggle with picking up a bag of shopping in 6-7 years time. I thought, well, I ain't gonna have that. I can't deal with that. So once he told me I have to get operated on, I started to think the worst. Powerlifting's done. I'm over with. What am I going to do? All these doubts kicking into my head. But I didn't want to say anything when I got home. I just said, look, they said they need to operate on it. It's not a big operation, but they do need to operate on it.
Who did you say this to?
That's just to everyone at home. So my mum, dad, and to Roman. Okay, look, they need to operate on it. So they're going to operate on it quite soon, next couple of months or so. And that's it. But inside, I was burning up inside.
Yeah.
Inside, it was just mentally, it was just going around in my head, but I wasn't letting it out. I wasn't saying what my issue was, that I can't handle it. I can't take it. I physically can't take it. Mentally, I can't take the fact that I'm going to be operated on. I'm going to be out for at least 8 weeks. Then I'll have to build up right from scratch. I couldn't take it. But I didn't say anything. I just kept it bottled up inside.
Didn't say anything to Aman either? Nothing?
No,
Okay.
nothing. I just sort of, might have once or twice just in passing turned around and said, I can't believe it's going to happen. She was like, look, you'll be all right, don't worry. You know, you can always come back and this, that, the other. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine. But I just thought, inside it was killing me. And I remember when I went for the pre-operation, they'd done like the blood check and everything. My blood pressure was really high. And they're like, you need to calm down because, you know, your blood pressure's high. You need to start, bringing it down, this, that, the other, because obviously you can't operate on you if your blood pressure's high. But my blood pressure was high because everything was going through my head. Everything was just building up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then they rang up and they set a date for the operation, which was in like a month. And so I went in, and at that point I didn't really think anything. I wasn't really thinking anything. I just thought, okay, I'm going to get this operation done. I didn't realise what the consequences were and how it was going to impact me. So anyway, I had the operation done, obviously came out of it, and obviously I was still a bit out of it, and then realised obviously my arm's all strapped up, and it's all strapped up fully, and I was like, what, how am I going to even do anything? I physically couldn't do anything. It was literally just strapped up. I couldn't move. It was just struggling. I couldn't even put a top on, anything. It was that point.
And how did that make you feel?
Like I said, for a guy that's been lifting since the age of 15, big weights, lugging weights around, and where that's been such a massive part of my life, to the point where I got home and I used to have to wait for Amma to get back so she can help me shower. And I remember the first day she came back from work, I was just sitting around the house, just watching TV and stuff on the first day. But nothing was really sort of going in there. It was just like I'm watching something for the sake of it. And she came back and she made a comment and she started laughing. She goes, what's the matter with you? She goes, you look like you're depressed. And I turned around and I go to her and I go, I think I am. And she goes, oh, don't be silly. She goes, you can't be depressed. And I was like, well, it's just, it's really hard, right? Anyway, so she consoled me and stuff. And then it was just day upon day upon day. It was like just feeling just emptiness and just feeling like I'm never going to be able to do what I've done all my life, basically. Not being able to lift. I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm going to be fat. I'm going to be unfit. And I'm going to feel this emptiness and this crap for the rest of my life. And that's the negativity I was feeling on a day-to-day basis. And it got to the point where I was probably drinking a bit more because I had nothing better to do. I felt like I had nothing better to do. Not out of control, but I was probably drinking a bit more.
Were you working at this point?
No. So I was off because I was signed off for like 13 weeks.
Okay.
So
But you had a job. You still had.
Yeah, I still had a, no, Santander.
Santander.
Yeah,
Okay,
Santander.
sorry.
Yeah, so Santander. So I still had a job, but obviously I was off work for 13 weeks, and it was like winter months, and I just couldn't motivate myself to do anything. I just didn't want to get out of bed, and it got to the point where I thought, right, okay, I started to get a bit better now. I need to start doing something. I need to start going for walks or something. So what I used to do is I used to actually get, when I used to go to work, she used to actually drop me off at the Godwara. So I used to go to the Godwara in the morning. That was my routine. Go to the Godwara in the morning, go downstairs, have a cup of tea, maybe cheeky parota, and I'd walk it home, which is probably about 30 minutes or so, 25, 30 minutes. And so that was my routine.
Yeah.
And that was okay then. I felt like I was getting out, I was doing a bit, but I was still thinking I can't lift, and
The arm was still.
Arm was still strapped.
Okay.
Arm was still strapped, but it was better, but it was just in the sling at this point. And then this was around October time. November I had the op. Yeah, so it was probably around December time actually, just before Christmas. And then January came, and again, I wasn't in a good mindset. I wasn't very happy at all, but I didn't let it on. The thing is with me is people come to me for advice, and people talk to me and say, do you know what, you're a great person to talk to, because if there's any advice, or if we're feeling down or anything like that, we can talk to you about it, Bally. And you always have the answers. Yeah, it was great. I was giving everybody else the answers, but I weren't taking my own advice. But then January came, and my wife was expecting. So it's
what year was this?
This was 2017.
Okay.
So we were expecting our first child, and that changed everything. That sort of just blocked everything out, and it was just forget it. Forget about powerlifting. Don't worry about anything. You got bigger fish to fry. You got a kid on the way.
So you went from a mindset where you're feeling so low, depressed, down, anxiety, to knowing that you had a kid on the way.
Yeah.
So just talk to me about how a woman told you about this.
So she just came into the room. There wasn't no like fancy kind of ways that she told me. She just came into the room and she goes, "We're pregnant." And I was like, "What?" She's like,
We're pregnant.
"Yeah, we're pregnant." I was like, "We're pregnant?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Because I'm pregnant." And I was like, "What?" And then so that was the shocker. And then obviously went to the doctors and got it all confirmed, and then they told us that the baby's due in August. And at that point, even though I was feeling all that low, I was feeling anxiety. That anxiety was really bad for me. My mindset just changed again. It was like changed again, and I sort of got to the point where I was like, "Wow, we're gonna have a kid, and it's a different chapter in our life, and so on and so forth." So in that sort of period, build up until August, I started training again. So I was just doing little bits and bobs, mainly cardio and things. But I think it was around sort of March, April time, I started trying to do a bit of powerlifting. Trying to do a bit of powerlifting. And I remember going to the gym, and I go to my dad, "Can you just pass me the bar, the empty bar, just 20 kilo? Pass me the bar." Passed the bar over, and I was going, couldn't even bring it down. And that really, really broke me inside. I've broken. It really broke me inside. And I come back home. I didn't say anything to him because I didn't want to put no pressure on her. I was like, she's pregnant. I don't want to put no pressure on her and how I'm feeling. But inside, I was broken inside. And then I didn't really give a damn about powerlifting. Just thought, it's what it is. I'll get fit. I'll lose a bit of weight. I'll get fit. So I was doing that. And then my daughter Nimra was born. She was born in August. Anyway, over the moon, fantastic. My first kid. It's amazing. And then it came to September, October time, 2017. Started getting that feeling back again. That doubt, paranoia about the littlest things. Anyone said anything to me about work, anyone says anything to me, just dwelling on it, just dwelling on it, dwelling on it. And this is the point where it started getting really bad, where I think at that period in time previously, the distraction was we're expecting our first child, and that was my distraction, but that didn't resolve the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it got so bad where I would get to a point where sometimes I wouldn't know what it was. I just wouldn't know what was wrong with me. And I used to blame it on everything. Oh, I must have had too much to drink on the weekend. That's why I'm feeling down and depressed. I didn't get enough sleep because that's the reason why I'm feeling so down and paranoid, working myself up over things. I'm watching TV, I'm not interested in anything. I'm disinterested. Watching like a series with Oman, sitting there watching it, nothing. And she turned around and she goes, "Are you alright?" I'd be like, "Yeah." The hardest part was where I can openly admit I'd randomly just have breakdowns. Just randomly. Just like it would get too much, that build up would just get too much, and I'd just break down. And Aman would ask me, "What's the matter with you? Why are you breaking down? What's wrong with you?"
So breaking down as you like to cry.
Emotionally, yeah, emotionally. I'll just break down. And she'll be like, "What's the matter with you? What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I actually don't know." That's why I say that mental health is the worst thing that could possibly be out there. Because if I'd hurt myself, whatever, you can see it's an injury, you can see it's healing. I did not know what the hell was going on with me. I didn't know. I was thinking, what the hell is going on with me? Why am I feeling like this? There's nobody else feeling like that. I shouldn't be feeling like this. I'm big, I'm strong, I'm a powerlifter. I shouldn't be feeling like this. Why am I breaking down? What the hell am I doing? But I could not understand why I was breaking down. And then, like I said, I'd just mask it and just use excuse after excuse after excuse. Then it got to the point where where it was happening so regularly, every few months. It got to the point where someone said to me, she goes, "Listen, I love you to bits, but you need help." And I think that was the point where I just thought, okay, I just thought, okay, what does she mean I need help? She goes, "You need professional help." I don't think I need professional help, I'm alright. Because after my breakdown, after I've got it all out, I felt alright for a couple of weeks. It's fine. You know, I've released that tension.
Yeah.
The tension that I had, whatever it was, even though I don't know what it was, I've released it. But it was still eating away at me. It was eating away at me. So she goes, "You're calling the doctors tomorrow and you're going to tell them exactly what's going on and you're going to go and see the doctors." Alright, I'm like, "If you say so." Anyway, I was looking for excuses to get out.
Yeah.
I don't need to speak to anyone. Called the doctors, went to go and see the doctor. Tried to find an exit route, didn't I? Turned around and he goes, "So, Mr. Chima, what's the matter?" "Oh, my shoulder. Still playing odd. Don't know what it is." It's the other. It was fine, to be honest.
So you went to see the doctor yourself?
Yeah, went by myself. Right. And yeah, I don't know. It's just something's wrong with it. It's still not functioning how I want it to function. "Oh, okay, fine." And he was like, "Okay, well, I'd recommend doing X, Y, and Z." So that'll be fine. Then I got up, and I don't know what it was. If he had some kind of mystic powers. As I walked towards the door, he looked at me and he goes, "Mr. Chima, are you sure you're okay?" And that feeling of nervousness, the anxiety, everything sort of come up to here. I felt it in my throat. I got a bit teary-eyed. And I thought, this is my critical point now. I can either turn around and say, "No, I'm absolutely fine," and I walk out of this door, or I can turn back and say, "Actually, doctor, no, I'm not alright." Thankfully, I turned back and I said, no, I'm not all right. So he goes, okay, sit down. What's going on? So I told him, I go, look, I feel empty. I feel down, I feel depressed. I go, I'm not interested in anything. I go, I'm getting this horrible, horrible paranoia feeling inside me. The littlest thing, I'm getting worked up and it's sort of bubbling inside. I don't want this. Like, is there something wrong with me? And the doctor was fantastic. And he sort of explained to me, he goes, listen, there's nothing wrong with you. He goes, there's an imbalance in your brain. Start talking about serotonin levels and so on and so forth. And he goes, it's nothing to be ashamed about. And I was thinking to myself, of course there's something to be ashamed about. I shouldn't be going through this. Nobody needs to know that I'm going through this. And he goes, look, there's nothing to be ashamed about. And he delved into it a bit further. Anyway, it made me feel a bit better and I sort of calmed down at that point. I thought, okay, fine. He then turns around and he goes, look, you've got two options you can go down. You can either go down the medication route, so we give you medication and see how that affects you, your moods and so on and so forth. Or he goes, you've got the counselling route. I said, I don't want to go down the medication route. Obviously, my background of drug-free lifting and stuff like that, I'm very careful with what goes in my body. I go, so I don't want to go down that route. So he goes, all right, counselling. How about counselling? I thought, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, what? I want to speak to someone about my issues. He was like, well, yeah, right. So he recommended me to IAPT. So he goes, give them a call. What they'll do is they'll give you a call back and they'll arrange an appointment and they'll talk to you over the phone, of your phone consultation, and then they'll tell you the different areas you can go down and, you can decide from there. That's right. What have I got to lose? I've got nothing to lose. It can't be worse than how I've been feeling now. And I can't tell anyone because my ego's too big to tell anyone that I've got this issue. So I rang them, booked an appointment, spoke to them on the phone. I spoke to the guy on the phone. It was like I'm speaking to you. Somebody I didn't even know. Anyway, everything came out. Started talking about my powerlifting, how I felt with anxiety. Sometimes I felt there were things I felt low because before I got married, I hadn't got a degree and I felt like I'd, not made my parents proud because I didn't get a degree and get a job like that. And, I just come out with everything. And I was like, why have I just come out with everything to this guy that I've never even met or spoken to? But that's the whole thing about counselling, isn't it? Yeah. It's about being able to open up because that person in front of you doesn't know who you are. So you can say what the hell you want to say. And I've done that phone call and my physically body just I felt so much lighter just from that one phone call. And so then he goes to me, look, you can go down the counselling route face to face. He goes, but there's like a 6-7 week wait. That's where I realised that maybe I'm not the only person that's in this position. So I said, okay, let's do it. And then 6-7 weeks came and I did it. I went to counselling and I met this lady who had about 6 sessions. But I thought, how is this going to help me in any kind of way? After my 5th or 6th session, I walked out of there, I felt a new man. I had a new lease of life.
So just before you get into that, so from the point of where obviously Omna's said to you, you need professional help, go and see a doctor. You went to see the doctor, you told him exactly how you're feeling, he referred you. What did you tell Oman after the doctor's appointment and, the build-up to actually seeing the counsellor or speaking to him?
So I told her the truth. Oman was very supportive of me. She's always has been very supportive of me, which I thought fair play to her because she didn't have to put up with that. That's the way I thought, that she didn't have to put up with that. But clearly I had an issue.
Yeah.
And she loved me and she cares about me and that's why she wanted to support me. So I came back from the doctors And do you know what? I think I actually started crying when I come back from the doctors. But happiness.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm so glad I've just been. And then I told her the story about him saying to me, "Are you okay?" And I was this close to just saying, "Yeah, doc, I'm fine." I'm walking out. And coming back and probably just saying, yeah, he said I'm fine. But
so at this point, did you tell Owen exactly what you told the doctor about your emotions, what you were feeling, what you were going through?
no, because she said to me, she goes, "Listen," she goes, "that's between you and the doctor." So I appreciate that. Because I was like, fair enough, because there's a reason why I'm going to go to counselling and I'm going to talk about all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I've got anything to hide from her, but I just feel comfortable about it. Going or speaking to somebody else about it.
Stranger, they don't know you, they're not going to judge you.
There's no connection. There's no connection. But again, at the back of my mind, I was thinking, this ain't going to work. How's me picking up the phone, speaking to someone about my problems is going to make me feel better? But it did.
Yeah.
It did. And that's why last year I decided that I need to sort of get this story out and just speak out on it. Because if somebody like me, where, the stereotypical of, he's strong, he's, this, that, the other. And obviously, if you look at it from the outside, and this is what people don't understand. From the outside, people look and think, hold on, he's happily married, he's strong, he's into his powerlifting and stuff, he's got a lovely family, he ain't going to have no mental health issues, is he? Why is he going to have mental health issues? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because nobody talks about it, automatically it's a case of, well, why has he got mental health issues?
Yeah.
Has he got issues with his wife? Has he got issues with his family? But do you know what I mean? But that's not the case.
Yeah.
That's not the case at all.
Yeah.
The case is obviously there's an accumulation of things that have happened in the past that are affecting your present that you don't know until when you feel low and you feel the way that I felt, which is horrible. Any injury, anything, anxiety, the way that I felt, the emptiness is I would not wish that on my worst enemy, because it was horrible. It's horrible, and there's not any way for anyone to live.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought, if I can get my story out there and say, do you know what? I've been through it, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm a powerlifter. I've won world titles. I've done this, that, the other. Physically, yes, I'm strong. But at one point in my life, I was mentally very weak. And I've had to push through it. I've sought help. And I've moved forward with it. And now I'm in an amazing place. Apart from probably not waking up like yourself so early in the morning. And
I need to
download that.
But okay, so you've, like you said, you've gone from good place powerlifting.
Yeah.
Marriage. It's gone a bit down from there.
Yeah.
And now you've come out at the other end.
Yeah.
So talking about the mental health, the timing couldn't be better. Because I was speaking to funeral directors earlier today, and just a friend of mine, and he was saying that he's got so many suicide people, that he's burying and cremating because of mental health. There was recently on the news, lady, she's got a 10-year-old son who's autistic. He got help, probably about 15, 16 hours a day from carers because of COVID lockdown. Carers couldn't do anything. She took care of him. She couldn't handle him. She killed him. So she suffocated a 10-year-old son. There's a lot of mental health issues out there.
Yeah.
And this is, I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing, sharing your story, because I guarantee you there's going to be people out there that are going to be thinking, do you know what? Yeah, I went through that. Oh, yeah, I can totally relate about it. Yeah, definitely. And especially being Asian male.
Yeah, 100%.
Because us as Asian male, we have been taught to suppress the feeling, don't talk about it, and especially the fact that you're a powerlifter, he's big, strong. Well, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to people that are going through what you went through, like what coping mechanisms would you give them?
I think first of all, there's no harm in seeking medical help. There are so many things out there that you can actually go to. Like I said, obviously for me, I decided to go down the counselling route. Obviously, even with that counselling route, there was different types of, like there was cognitive behaviour therapy and so on and so forth. There was different types of, things that you can do to train your brain in a certain kind of way, to help with this. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I've been to counselling and that's it, I'm a changed man and everything's perfect in my life. It doesn't work like that. You have to work on it daily, I would say, because you need some kind of a routine and you need some kind of something in your life. I mean, not that everyone has to do powerlifting, I'm not saying that, but some kind of a routine, exercise, physical exercise is an amazing thing for mental health. And that's been proven. It obviously increases your serotonin levels. It's the best thing that you can one of the best things that you can get out there naturally.
Yeah, because it's the same chemical that releases when you exercise is the same you get in antidepressants. It's exactly the same. So this is why the GP will or should always say go down the exercise route.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Even if it's going out for a 20-minute walk, 30-minute walk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would say. And after that, even once that finished, I came back again to powerlifting.
Yeah.
So after that, I came back, and it was after 7 years, I came back to powerlifting.
Wow, cool.
But I was realistic this time. I thought, okay, I'm not going to do full powerlifting. So full powerlifting is squat, bench, and deadlift. Okay, I'll just compete in the deadlift. But mentally, it was good for me because I've got a goal, I've got an aim, and I could then push forward with that. Yes, deep inside, I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? I want to come back to complete full powerlifting again, which I will. But that was a stepping stone for me to start thinking to myself, do you know what? Yes, I can't do full powerlifting, but I'm not going to be negative and just think, do you know what? Forget the whole thing. I'll think to myself, okay, what's the best thing I can do? I can still deadlift, I can still squat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to compete in the deadlift. That was my best lift anyway. I'm going to compete in just the deadlift. So then I lifted in the deadlift, set a new West Midlands record in my category. Obviously, I'd gone up a couple of categories from 67 and a half.
Yeah.
That's down to marriage life as well. So yeah, and I just thought, do you know what? I'm gonna move on with it. But now, then I was in March. Last year in March. I would have been competing in the British. Lockdown came in.
Okay.
Competition cancelled. So again, I had to then work on myself again. And when I mean work on myself, I had to. The first couple of weeks of lockdown, I was just like, I don't fancy doing anything. I can't go to the gym, can't do anything. But then I thought to myself, okay, what are my things that will help me with my powerlifting? Okay, maybe if I got a bit more fitter. Okay, maybe I can go for a walk. Can't I? Yeah, okay, let's go for a walk. It's about trying to have that positive mindset. But your only way you're going to have that positive mindset is, I feel, as if you've got issues, you need to seek help first on. And hence the reason why I'm setting up this platform, which is called Lift Your Life, What's Your Story? Where obviously this is my story now, where I want to meet other people that have gone through similar issues and how they've come out on the other end. And it sort of empowers them to say, do you know what? It's a platform for me to talk about mental health. It's okay not to be okay. And that's the whole reason behind it. And this has actually given me a new lease of life, because I've only literally just set up this Instagram not long ago, and literally I'm already getting messages from people from all over the world, actually, just saying, do you know what, good on you, fair play to you, this needs to be spoken about. And it's completely random people, as well as friends of mine who have potentially gone through similar issues, or people I've known that have gone through similar issues, that have sort of messaged me saying, do you know what, fair play, I'm glad you're doing this. And it just shows the whole stigma behind it. And there's so many things that you do and you know your Instagram's so inspirational, apart from the alarm clock thing. But like, it's so inspirational, the things that you do. You know, obviously I'm not going to go into your story, but obviously everything that's happened in your life,
Yeah.
and you know, you've come out of the other end, and you've spoken about it, and you've sort of said, you know, you can move forward with your life, and you know, that's so inspiring. And I think more and more people need to come out and talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Instagram is a really, really good tool for this.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've heard the saying where family and friends, you know, won't really support you, but it's the strangers
Yeah.
that will clap for you.
100%.
Yeah, and this is what I absolutely love Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, recently I shared some great news on Instagram, and the love that I've felt is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think you haven't been on Insta for that long.
No.
And you've only made an impact.
Yeah.
People messaging you. So, firstly, how can people contact you?
So I've got my Instagram, which is Bali_Singh_Chima.
Cool.
That's my actual Instagram itself. I am in the process of setting up a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And
is that where people go and watch his video?
Yeah, watch his video.
Like
so what I'll do is I'll set up a link on my social media, which will be on my Instagram, and maybe on my Facebook as well, which is just Bali Chima. And then I'll put the link on there, and then this will be one of the first videos on there, which will be my story.
Yeah, wicked. Just one last thing, people are going through these mental health issues right now. In less than 10 seconds, what do you want to say to them?
Stay strong. Don't let it get you down. There's always help.
Good man. Bali, fantastic. Good stuff, man.